Hello there and welcome to China, capitalist China, free market China. We went through and we made sure that we got free trade and agrarianism. I didn't want traditionalism or stuff like this. It's been a very different campaign, very fun. We actually made China multicultural as well, and we gave people voting rights. Well, voting, but still voting rights. It was very hard to pass things here because it's all so expensive. You see how many bureaucracy it takes to have health system, education, or law enforcement. It really was a struggle to get these things through, but we, in the end, still ended up with relatively decent standard of living. You see it's all green here in China, and our GDP, of course, is number one. How could it not be number one with 4.4 billion? But our GDP per capita is still fifth, despite being China, where everybody's meant to be just poor, really. We also, apart from having our mainland here, we also have New Zealand, which is great. We have all these oceanic islands, Papua New Guinea. And if we go all the way over here, once again, we had to invade the US for oil. It's not the first time I've had to do this in the campaign, but I just love the irony of invading the US for oil. We came here and we just built all the oil rigs we could. Go to a market here, we still don't have enough oil. That's only about half of what we need for our giant economy. And rubber is so hard to find, my goodness. Also hardwood, but we did a fair bit. Most of it's being used in furniture manufacturing. If we go to our buildings, we just have so much shit being built, and I think that is very accurate for China. Just shit everywhere being built. Which is why I wanted to go free trade. I wanted to try and keep the prices well by exporting as much as I could without having to micromanage it. If it doesn't work out as well as I had hoped, I had hoped that everybody would just be forced to buy everything from me because it'd be so cheap in my country, but it doesn't seem to be the way. Look at my trade routes here. Like everything here I made. I made all of these. And there's no minor nations importing from me. I mean, this here was imported from me to India, but I thought it would have been better. I thought everybody would just be like, oh, China, they build everything. Let's go buy shit from them. But no, it's not accurate to the modern market. Also, we have Alaska over here. I was trying to, at one point, take over Canada. Twice, actually. When I started the war for here, Canada joined in, but then they gave up on the land, and I wasn't able to take Canada. To here, actually, I had on my... all the way to Ontario, I had. And then it was the same with the California War. No, not California War. The Baja California War. The one with California was actually trying to take all of this region because Canada didn't get involved, but they gave in. And again, with these guys, I tried to take all of this, which then I hoped, oh, what if I actually had this as well? But there was no time for extra war. This was all pretty late game stuff. But of course, that is not all. There is the great, I think this is pronounced Qing. We took over Sakhalin and Hokkaido. I like Hokkaido. I like the Ainu culture. I watched an anime of my missus, Golden Kamuy, and it goes deep into Ainu culture because it's based in Hokkaido and Sakhalin, and it's very fun. If you're looking for a new show to watch, it's very good. I do highly recommend Golden Kamuy. So I have a soft spot for the people over here. I also took it over in a couple of different campaigns. Of course, a Japanese campaign I did, and a US campaign I took over these regions to help there. Korea as well. Always got to have some extra land. I wanted my nice borders. Kicked out the European Westerners. I tried to make Formosa my capital, but I'm not entirely sure why I can't, or how. I'm not sure how to do it. I look in information. I don't see anywhere where I can change my capital. I right click, change capital to. I don't see it. So I'm not sure there. Can I change anywhere else to my capital? I didn't actually try, but no, I don't see the option. If we go to our market here, you see just how big some of these counties are. 225 million and 198 million. These two counties together might be second place. Let's have a look. If we have a look at the markets, Austria is in third place of 353, which means those two counties would be higher than them. And who's second then? The Germans? Yes, the Germans with 358. Yeah, two of my counties is second place in GDP. It's really insane how big you can get places here. In fact, if I took maybe my top 6 counties, that might be bigger than everybody else in the world combined. Because the Russian market is never terribly big. The US isn't huge. And Britain doesn't grow much either. India India neither. Yeah, it's crazy. I think with 4.5 billion, I probably have maybe 80% of the world's GDP just in China. And this is why I did pass some laws such as multiculturalism. I wanted to try and sap the brains from the West. In the modern day, the West saps the brightest brains from countries like India and China for their tech industry. Here we did the opposite. We took the brightest from the Western nations. If we go down to our cultures here, of course Han with 503 million, the Yu, the Min, the Manchu, the Korean, the Hakka. But if we go down a bit, you have English. We have 3.5 million English. Of course, a few of them did come with the annexation of this region here, which you see we've already been culturally enriching. Half of Australia is Han, all of New Zealand. Only this half here is still Australian. Australian 2.5 million, but oh, Vietnamese, yes. When I was looking for rubber, I took over Tonkin, because there's really not much rubber around at all. There's a bit around here, but this is a lot of micromanaging wars. Also, I done goofed. Fascist Philippines over here. I owned as a puppet. Spain joined a war to cut me down size, and I just added, how about transferring the subject of Philippines with the intention of annexing them. However, there was a civil war between the fascists and somebody else, and I switched sides thinking, oh, I can join the stronger side to win this sooner and then just annex it. But no, it actually made them independent. So if you ever get in that situation, do not join against your colony's civil war opposition. It doesn't work well. It's kind of a scary thought of having 168 radicals in your country, but it's still not even half. Anyway, this was a great campaign. We have quite the army and a bit of navy, not too much, but I did want a fair few guys for naval invasions. As you see, we'd take over islands, Australia, New Zealand. Australia fell very fast because we just naval invaded every single county and they didn't have a navy, so we landed and started moving in, and then the British surrendered it to us. Plus I had a land bridge because the AI never colonizes this region down here, so I managed to invade through land this way while landing by ship everywhere else. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to add Tasmania in the war goal, but oh well, we could have done worse. We'll leave the Brits with a little tiny bit down here. Of course, the free real estate, as always. You always have to take this if you have a colonizable nation. Didn't, however, get this region down here. The British did beat us to that, which was a bit of a shame. You look how ugly France is. They've really gone all over the place. Revolutionary France, Brittany France, Occitan Uprising, France again. What an ugly country. They might have been second place if they didn't have all this shit going on, but it's really it really is something over there. It is. Also, I like the golden colours of the Kalmar Union. For a moment when I first, because I never really looked in Europe, I was focused on my own land. When I first looked over, I thought I might have accidentally colonized Greenland, but no, it's all Kalmar. It's the same colour as my great Qing. Also, I like this flag. This flag came up as soon as I gave everybody voting rights. I'm not sure what the meaning is behind it. Also, there's a strike, but I don't give a fuck because the game's could be over in a week anyway. Fragile Unity, I'm not sure this. Oh, I lost the Opium Wars. I didn't really want to go to war with the Westerns because my army was shite. When I eventually did press for professional army and I started being able to get loads of units, I really did start to beat the Westerns. Of course, I beat the Brits over here. I beat the Russians over here because they joined in on a war against me. I kicked Portugal out of here and I went to, I can't remember which war it was, but they joined in and they took a port down in Manchuria, and that was very disgraceful to the honor of China, so I did eventually take that back as well as their provinces over here because they naturally colonized here. So I did manage. I was thinking about puppeting Russia, but you can't actually do that. You can't puppet a nation if they're too big or a major power, something like this. I'm not entirely sure, but I was thinking, oh, wouldn't it be hilarious if I puppeted Russia? But no, it was not an option. Anyway, that is pretty much a summary of this campaign. Not sure what else there is to show, but there is the end screen. So let us go ahead and fast forward straight to that. It shouldn't take too long. Lots of building. Also, this got stuck for bits. It's been at it was at 4.4 for about 10 years, despite all of this constant building. You see how big my construction center is if I go to the right tab. It's huge, and it was full. I only stopped adding to it because the game was coming to an end, but this was usually running at 7,800 the whole time. But this never went up. I'm not sure why. Because there are peasants in every county. But still, I'm not sure if it's stuck at this level or what. Either way, game over. You can see just how rapidly everything went up. Standard living really didn't increase too much, but it's still pretty good considering we are China. Prestige, zoom, and of course population, just a steady growth. We didn't do too much conquering, and the places we did conquer were like Alaska and California and Australia, Philippines for a bit. They weren't really highly populated regions. So most of our population growth was through birth and a bit of immigration, but not so much. Still so many peasants we could have put to work, but it did not happen, unfortunately. But oh well, this was a fun campaign. I do recommend it. It was different to the rest because you start off with so much population. It's just about putting them to work, really. But if you are enjoying Victoria Free, we do have a Discord server, which is linked down below in the description. It's linked to my Discord. We host multiplayers there, and we talk about our campaigns. We share screenshots, talk about whatever we're up to. It's a good spot. I'll see you guys there. Anyway, thank you for watching. Hope you're enjoying the game. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.